do a bit of Division D casting. I think there's like 11 sets genuinely in Division D that have been played since last week, which is nuts. And I've got maybe 2 or 3 from Division H, maybe 4. So we'll have a look at them tomorrow. I won't get through all 11 sets today. I'm hoping the players will kind of slow down their scheduling to make life easier for me. But we're going to start, just going to go through them in chronological order, with AMO versus someone who's now got 3 names. Can't even hold my hat on for too long. Spaz, welcome in. Division D is about, I would say, like 14 to 1550, maybe 1600, maybe 1450, roughly. I should really know. I'm just basing it on the players I know. So we've got AMO, who will just be known as AMO, against Wimp Wappy, also known as Mattia, and also known as Squeaky Chair. So a few names. I'm just going to go with what he's called in game because otherwise I'll forget. This set, I believe there were lots of issues with ping and lag. So I believe we only get 1 game and an admin win for the second game. So we're just going to cast 1 game as a bit of a warm up into it and crack in. Spaz, I know what you mean. This is unusual for me because I normally only cast my Elo or lower, or specifically 1800 who just loves to cook. So casting this Elo is like out of my comfort zone. I feel bad if I give advice, so just try and have some fun. All right, we'll just crack into it. So we're on Evacuation, which is Wappy's home map. Bans were Georgians for AMO in the blue, and Britons for Wappy in the yellow, and we've got Hindustanis into the Malians. So, Evacuation, interesting map. There's water. There's cracked terrain island with a bit of gold, a bit of neutral gold, some relics, not a lot of wood, stone, and your boars. And then we've got the evacuated island where you've got plentiful wood. You've got a hell of a lot more gold. You've got your berries, you've got deer, you've got heaps of, whatchamacall them? Cows, we'll call them for the sake of today, but I like to call them sheep. Welcome to Age of Empires if you've never been here before, where we call everything the wrong name. So it's an interesting map. There's lots of dynamics. There's lots of ways it can play out. Spaz is saying it's painful to play, but I think it's, I actually quite like it because I think it's very, very wrapped up in a strategical element, such as where does your first lumber camp go? And it goes right here for Wimp and right here for Amo. So both players similar. Do you drag this boar in and trade scout HP? Do you get as much sheep in under your TC? You never know. Vermin, welcome in. Welcome in. I try not to be mixed stressed, but I you know, don't want to offend any of these high elo players that might actually like challenge me to a 1v1 and clap me. Too much chaos spaz, I could appreciate that. I think my game style, the way I play, which is not on for show here, probably leads into chaos being a little bit better. I lose when the games just fall into a structured pattern. So boar lures, so players are scouting around quite nicely here. Going for the island. Obviously, being your home map, Wappy is maybe going to have a bit more of a prepared strategy. Hindustani is a really interesting pick on this map for me. I'm kind of not 100% sure what their play is, apart from the fact that they're just a really strong civ. Malians, you get the wood discounts. It makes it easier to dock. They've got a very open tech tree, playing through feudal and castle age. So I think we'll see the Malian player being a little bit more aggressive. Leviathan, how are you, my friend? Welcome in. Structured chaos. Nah, see, structured chaos requires me to focus on too many things. I just like full chaos. But you know what the great thing is, Spaz? We're allowed to be different. And that's what I think makes life in Age of Empires great, is that people can focus and enjoy different maps played in different ways. And that's what AOE Leagues does, is it brings forward people who are looking to enjoy the game in their way, but also enjoy it in other ways. I'm good, Ace. I'm good. Monday morning. Work in 6 hours. Get to custom Age of Empires until then. So, Feudal Age. Feudal Age. Sorry, Dark Age even. Let's get to Feudal Age. The game's a bit boring here. But both players doing very similar builds. Docking, getting fish out. Like, it's all very even here, to be honest. You see the cows being escorted in by Wappy. Probably saying it wrong. And Amo, who getting a bit of scouting out, has brought a cow in as well. Sunday evening, living in the past, guys. I've well and truly finished with Sunday evening. But that's okay. I can tell you about the future. It's exactly the same. Yeah, no, I kind of like this casting time because I cover the American audience really nicely. So, and the Australians are all at work, so no one's here to fucking watch me. Spaz, there's nothing wrong with being slow. Nothing wrong with being slow at all. So Amo sending 5 bills out, and it looks like we can take the hunt. You've got the boar, you've got the deers, you've got the berries. There's a nice bit of food. I always think you want to get to this woodline as soon as possible. And we see Wappy doing the exact same thing. Amo up on 24 pop with Loom, and Wappy up a little bit faster on that 22 pop with Loom. So it is going to be about a 50-second difference. And as the Hindustan is, I'm just looking to see any clues for what our opening's going to be. But I think honestly it's going to be scouts, which I don't know if they're super effective on this map. As you see, Amo getting the wood line and the mill down and dropping a barracks and going to gold. So I personally feel like Archer opening can be brutal on this map, like absolutely brutal. Particularly if you can control this part of the map. Now this is interesting. Wappy's got the hit in early on the scout, and in Feudal Age is going to get that speed and attack boost, but peels off. This is critical. Amo's got to get his scout out of there because, yeah, doubling back really smart. And Wappy's kind of missed a moment there. Could have really taken advantage and killed the scout. And do we see any men-at-arm play? No. I think it's just going to be straight archers. And I think we're going to head across, and here we go. Stable opening. Now, scouts can deal quite comfortably with archers as long as there's no spears in play. So, will be interesting to see if Amo does drop a spear. The stable timing's actually pretty good. As we can see, it's not too far behind, despite being 50 seconds behind. And we're getting that early bid axe for our Malian player too, as we see the scout being a little bit of a nuisance. This could be a dead Vil, but it could also be a dead scout if we're not careful. As we see a little bit of quick walling, I suppose. And not getting a lot of scouting information out here. Haven't even confirmed that the Vils are out here yet. That's going to be important for Amo. But I think we're going to see here, Wappy with bid axe coming in. Really important to get that wood eco flowing. Wappy's going to have to get across onto wood over here. And that's really well done. Spaz disagreeing with me, thinking stables. I think my opinion here, Spaz, and I'm happy to be very wrong. My opinion is that stable opening is too easy to wall out and spear defend on this map in particular. But mobility, like, I don't see mobility being super critical. I think a ball of archers hits you here and then goes up to here, or hits you here and goes down to here. It can really throw your economy into chaos. Particularly with no easy TC. But I think at this point in time, on the starting island, you should really just be under your TC or on gold. And it's just a little, like, small walls. Not big walls, just small walls. And you've got easy access back to the town centre. Whereas this, like, you can't run from archers here. That's what I really think. But, like I said, I'm prepared to be wrong. So we see Amo being pretty patient, building up the archers, has got fletching, dropping a market as well. So, has fought off the scouts. one eco kill for our Hindustani player and a few weak vills in here, but the spears should do their job now. Though we are up to 5 scouts. Here they are. I've traded a little bit of HP and the spears are doing their job. Ooh, the frame delay, a little bit painful there. Spaz versus McWest. Ah, Vermin, you'll have to cast it. But to Spaz's point here, the scouts have been good, they've been active, and they've been forcing AMO to stay at home. But we are dropping a second range. We're going to stone, which is quite interesting. And our eco is kind of working quite efficiently. This is not that nice. We want to get them onto the starting island. And we see a market for our Hindustani player as well. But AMO just taking a bit of a lead in terms of veal production. A little bit less idle TC, just holding really nicely. And Wappy clicks up. And here come the archers moving forward. So 8 archers with fletching. There are 5 scouts with no upgrades. And the scouts heading to the main island. Farming eco starting to come in. There should be a couple of dead vills here, to be honest. I reckon you sacrifice this vill and try and dink that scout. Good micro there from Wappy. Actually, really good micro there. But here come the archers. And we've got Wheel coming in. This is going to be an interesting moment of the game. AMO needs to do damage or he's going to fall really far behind with this castle age timing. Having said that, I don't like Hindustanis against straight archers when there's no stone for ghoul. And we're going straight for the island. Wow. And here we go. And this is kind of where I was talking, is that this whole eco is now idle. You need to drop a tower. These vills need to be dropping a tower, not running. Yeah, water, as you can see, both players have just ignored water. They've used it to get a little bit of eco, but they don't actually, like, I don't often see people playing water, which is why I'm not so worried about demos or anything like that. And we're just running the vills to the corner, but because we can follow them, we're dropping a TC. Oof. This is pretty big damage for AMO, and the scouts are... Where have the scouts gone? Did we lose them to TCs? Maybe not, but you can just see, yeah, they're coming in. Well, this is good to drag... These vills have been sacrificed for this TC as we're going into a 2 TC boom. But AMO's done some good damage here. And it is scouts. We're going to see these become light cav. Nice quick wall. Don't lose your gate. That's 30 wood. Don't lose your gate. That's... Ooh, don't know if that was deleted. It might have been. And AMO is on his way up. So I think the game's in a pretty even position now. AMO probably edging slightly ahead because of the damage we've just got there. And I think Malians on a camel transition with crossbow kind of go pretty nicely against the Hindustanis here. Bloodlines and armor and light cav are going to be really important here. So we go 1 stable, 2... So 2 stables, 1 blacksmith. And a 3rd TC. Man, if there's one thing AMO loves doing, and we know I know AMO quite well, it's booming. So... I'm looking at this res and I'm thinking 4 TCs. TC on stone. It'd be interesting if we go stone. Golems are probably too late now. And, oof, there's weak vills here. There's weak vills. Are we going to just dive vills? Yeah. There's another weak vill. That's a one-shot vill. Light cap comes in at a good time, so they're going to get cleaned up. And we got pikemen and armor coming in. So it's actually going to be Malian pike defense. And are we going to see a TC, I think? Boom. Ooh, quite a forward TC. We know the light cav are back at home. And I guess we've got pikemen coming forward. And we've got crossbow coming in. Bodkin's going to be really, really important here. And just leaving these units at home to defend. And as Malians, we're pretty heavy on stone as we drop 1 TC. And look at this, Wappy's actually boomed really nicely to be back into the economic position lead. Just slightly behind on the res collected, but taking an eco lead, which is quite nice. So got those TCs pumping pretty quickly. But Hindustani cheaper villager coming in clutch there, I think. And Amo dropping that 3rd TC as well. We are on stone, yep, and quite heavily on stone. Both players quite heavy on stone, to be honest. So, I think... Are we going to castle at home? We're going to... I mean, both going stone's interesting because the Gebetto is just going to melt the Ghoul, unfortunately. I actually think Malians are a really hard matchup for Hindustanis, the more I think about it. Really quite a difficult matchup for them. Yeah, Ghoulam like have is strong, but I mean, Gebetto melts all of that, if that's what we're going for. But also, yeah, there's going to be a castle at home. I think if you're on, like, Gebetto Crossbow even, or Gebetto Camel, Gebetto like have yourself as the Malian player, it's not too bad. The Pike's just going to follow under the TC. But quite interestingly, we got enough vision to see the castle here. It's not going to get denied. And so that's interesting position. And what's going on over here? A lot of pressure. Amo just keeping the pressure on, idling the TCs, idling the farms. Is this all our food income? Yeah, we're not picking any food at the moment. Just got a couple of fishing ships. Now, we need ballistics to hit Vils. And the defensive castle at home here, which I quite like, and outposting as well to get really good vision. So Amo probably getting into a pretty strong position here. Has caught up on the boom, has idled the TCs, but it is Gebetto, which I don't mind right at this moment. But I think as soon as... Sorry, it is Ghoulam. But as soon as Gebetto are in play, the Ghoulam's... Hindustanis basically need to be Imperial Age. Going like have Husser. This map's interesting though, because it is actually so boomable. There's so much gold. There's still another 31k gold on the map. There's lots of neutral gold here that players sometimes forget about. And the relics in the middle are super important as well. 3 relics, you get kind of 1 in each corner as well. So picking these up, and castle at home for a Hindustani player. And Gebetto are in process. So players reading the game and reacting really well here. I think both of them making the right decisions based on what they've got. So it'll be interesting to see how we go. So the thing with Gebetto, Spaz, they're 10 attack, right? So they're not super quick, but they're 10 attack against something that has 0 melee up. Once we get our upgrades, we can have possibly 2 melee armor. So they're kind of like, they're going to be one-shotting these Lycav. And so the Lycav do 7 attack versus something with 1 melee armor. So they're doing 6 attack. So the Gebettos, they're glass cannons. So unless you've got a super mass, just watch. I mean, they're dying under the castle, but did you see how that HP just dropped from the Gebetto hits? And castle at home. So, like, the key is you've actually got to get close to them. And they do bonus damage against Ghoul. So they're going to die super fast too. Now, this is an interesting fight. The Ghoulam should mop this up. They're quite high pierce armor. But with a bit of micro and using the pikes as a bit of a nice shield there, they should get a nice HP trade on the Ghoulam. but they should just clean this up. The best thing about the Golem is they have that pass-through damage. So when you ball your crossbows up, like they all just take damage, and you see that. A ball of Golem are really hard to deal with, as we see the 2 castles in place, and this could be an interesting little fight here. Oh, these are around by apparently, and Imp is in for Amo. Wow, that is quick. So the Golem getting close here is actually really good. So they got their pass-through damage, and they did a lot of damage to the Gebetto. Amo just not quite got the micro rhythm for it. And choosing to run. Yeah, oh no. Ooh, I think that was a mistake. I think we should have chased them down. But Imp is really important here. Imp on 90 pop. We're going to go Men-at-Arms. Going to go Longsword, kind of like that. Two-handed Swordsman. That's probably a pretty good call if you can keep Hindustanis in Castle Age. And it does look like, as they Gebetto do get cleared up, so the Golem actually trading a bit better than I thought they would. But archery range transition, but we're not in Castle Age. Not in Imperial Age. Farm's coming down. We just need a few more farms. Wappy just needs to spend that wood. Let's get that auto farm going. Bang, bang, bang. And longsword, supplies, armor. Timing on this is going to be pretty brutal. And just a one-tile gap there, dropping another castle. Amo really fortifying this position. And another castle for Wappy, but I think they're going to be pretty concerned when they see this Imperial Age timing. They could just sell their way there themselves. Their macro is actually looking okay now. They just need to drop a few more farms and get up. And there we go. The market to the rescue. What did we sell? Sold 2k wood for 700 gold. Wow. We need to start dropping farms though. But what's our play going to be? I think this is a light cav. Hand cannon switch. And if we go hand cannon, light cav, I don't mind it. As we see, two-handed swordsman will be in. And are we going to push through the top? We just need to finish walling up here and down here. It's full Golem play at the moment. And where are the trebs? So we've got a treb here, but we've got army here, so that's a bit of a problem. Amo can be a little bit slow to push. I don't know if we're going to wait for champion. Are we going to just go champ skulls and try and melt everything? We do need arson if we're going to push buildings. Haven't got it yet. G'day Donut, welcome in. And another TC here, don't mind that. And there's the university. Very good timing on the university, I do like that. So there's going to be instant chemistry into hand cannons. And I wonder if we're going to push Chattagny as well. But the windows now, you got to survive 3 minutes of chemistry coming in as the slowest tech in the game. And it's got army out of position, unfortunately. But where's Amo going with this army? Again, just bypassing the middle. Who's your favourite to win Blues Clues then, Dowie? It's been a fun tournament, that one. Have we seen? No, we haven't. So, chemistry's in. 25 Golem. We're not doing anything more with the Golem. We're not getting elite. It's going to be hand cannon only. And there you go. The Treb numbers are up. And what are we doing with this army? We're just patrolling back and forth, I think. So you know Jono the best in Blues Clues, Donut. Who's your prediction for Jono? I'm struggling a little bit. Give me help. And here we go. Amo starts the push. Still no arson. I'd love to see arson. And Chattagny and chemistry are going to hit at similar times. So the hand cannons are going to be pretty brutal. And we see good production buildings So we should be able to produce from enough buildings. Jimmy, how you going? I don't think it's mean, Doey. I think Jono is maybe playing slightly differently to his normal style. Or, like, we haven't seen a lot of him in 1v1s. He mostly only plays team games, so it's hard to predict. I think Wappy's just going to be patient here. Just needs that hand cannon transition. Man, just get awesome. But he's going to be champ skulls. And hand cannons are going to do work here. They're no joke. These 9-range sniper hand cannons. But we need a mass of them. We need to get to like 20, 30. But Wappy doing a really good job to keep Eco alive, keep Army alive, and, you know, hold this position. Just need to build some houses. Losing that castle hurts. And this is what happens when you're housed and you're trying to defend a push. There's nothing worse. 16 hand cannons in the queue that we can't make. And see, this fight could go either way. Good cleanup there, actually. Really good cleanup. Stops that push. And skirm transition. Ballistics. It's kind of been... It's good weather for yard work over here as well, Jamie. I was in the garden this morning. Before I started streaming. This is an interesting position. I actually think Wappy's got the better army, but there's 55 army for Amo. And numbers do matter. Amo pop capped at 190, whereas Wappy's been pop capped at 125. But getting houses down, doing the right things, just needs to get that hand cannon production. And how many we just got too many hand cannons back at home now. We need to bring them into the action. But doing a really good job with these Ghoul, keeping them alive. But the push, the Trebs are the issue now. But hand cannons, oh, this is just a nasty number of champions. Just a nasty number of champions. Yeah, and taking this engagement, and this is going to be hard to push back. And the skirm transition is going to be really handy against the hand cannoneers as well. They can outrange the skirms, but they need a lot of micro. And Amo just sending the boys and girls. Do we just do a little cheeky wall off? Just like block you out? Because we are going to see the hand cannons, and there's 24 hand cannons. This is no joke of a number. Is this a castle? Don't know what's going on here. Amo with some hotkey issues, I think. But the Treb push in. There's Arson. The world's greatest tech. And it's a forward castle. And the skirm numbers are pretty good. Amo pushing towards that 200 pop. The light cav coming in. They're going to be a good little meat shield. They're going to be good for picking off the skirms. But I think army numbers are just going to be too much for Amo at the moment. But this is a handy little ball of hand cannons. The skirm numbers are just doing enough. 14 kills on the skirms. And Treb's just moving in. This castle's going to be pretty devastating here for our Hindustani player. And the GG call. And Amo takes the game. Now, we discussed that a little bit earlier, but there is no game 2 in this set because Wappy was having a lot of issues with lag and ping. So he gave out the admin win to Amo on that. And I've got to say back to Spaz as well. I'm unashamedly an Amo fan. So I'm probably just always going to say whatever he's doing is right as a much better player than me. But Amo looking really strong there. I was pretty critical of him not adding enough siege in his first couple of sets and being a bit slow on the pushes. So I think he's taken his advice from Coach West on board and been a bit more aggressive with his good timings and good macro there, because what we know is he is a macro beast. Yeah, it's probably more, it's probably more like 1450 to 1550 ace. It's probably like slightly higher. It's like blue player Elo. He's the top seed in his group, so 1450 to 1550 ish. But yeah, good first set just to warm up.